How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be doing another product review on two OBD II scanners that you can use for your car to help diagnose trouble codes and read live data that your car's ECU can output. So stay tuned for this review today. Now, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, find it helpful, and if you like what you see in the video, definitely consider subscribing for future automotive related videos on the channel. There's a new big project coming up, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. And of course, if you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued support on the channel. I really appreciate it. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a product review of two OBD II scanners sent out from JDiag products. They sent us out a wireless scanner, their FasLink M2 scanner. That's a little dongle that you plug into the OBD II port on your car. And then this one is a wired scanner that doesn't require any other third-party software support like a phone or a tablet. This one you can read all your codes right on the scanner here. So basically what I'm going to do is lay out the features of each device and what differs the two, and then we're going to go ahead and plug them into my Mercedes C55 over here and kind of just give you a brief rundown of some of the features and how to use these devices. Now, after you watch the video, if you're interested in purchasing one of these scanners, the link for JDiag Technologies products will be in the description below for their Amazon storefront, where both of these are able to be purchased. Now, the first scanner I'm going to start with is the more basic one, and it's the little bit cheaper one if you're not looking to shell out a whole lot of money. This is the wired JDiag JD-101 scanner here, and of course it doesn't require a wireless connection to a iPhone, Android phone, tablet, whatever you like. This one just requires the device itself and a car that is 1996 or newer with an OBD II port. So this product is, I believe, $30 on Amazon, and it feels very sturdy. It's made out of plastic, but it's not a cheap, flimsy plastic. It feels very sturdy. The build quality is really nice on this thing. So if you were to happen to drop it while using it or moving it around your garage workshop, I definitely think it could withstand some drops. The JD-101 scanner comes with about a 2.5 to 3 foot cord, so it definitely makes it nice when you're plugging this thing under the dash of your car. You don't have to hunch over when using it. You can plug it in, and it's got a long enough cord that you can comfortably use it in your hand or lap while sitting in the car. And of course, all it needs is a car that is 1996 or newer and has an OBD II port to access all the functionalities on this device here for it to work. The device itself comes with a user manual that kind of walks you through all the different menus and options and features of this scanner. The scanner itself is a nice lime green color, looks pretty cool, and it has 4 buttons, kind of an up-down button, a back button, and a check button, or like an OK button. So without further ado, there's not really much else to talk about this thing unless I plug it into the car and show you. So let's go ahead and take it on over to the car and plug this guy in and go through some of the features. So go ahead and open your car on the driver's side, and all OBD II ports are going to be under the dash. Like I said, some might be hidden behind a panel that you might have to pop open, which is the case here for my Mercedes. And then all you're going to do is orient the connector in the right way. All OBD II ports have this trapezoidal shape, so you want to make sure you align it right so all the pins line up and get a good connection. So immediately once you plug in the device here, you're going to see that the product starts up. You'll see the logo, and it's going to tell you to turn on the ignition in order to access the features. You don't even need to turn the car on, you just need to turn the key to the ignition 2 position before starting it, and you can actually get most of the features on this device working. Alright, so once you turn the ignition on to the 2 position, you can hit the check mark button and it'll bring you to this main menu here with 5 sub-menu options. So it's diagnostics, battery tester, DTC lookup, setup, and about. So let's go ahead and start with diagnostics. Let's hit the check mark to access the menu there. So now it's going to run a scan of your vehicle. And you can see here the screen is actually backlit, so it's very useful and helpful if you're trying to use this at night, because it's very well possible that your vehicle could get stranded when it's dark out, and so it's nice to have a backlit screen to help read all the things in the menus. So now it ran the code, or ran this a scan, and it didn't detect anything. So say you were to actually get some codes, you could read them here. And again, the buttons here, so you cycle the menu up, down with these arrows, and then if you want to access a menu that's highlighted, you just hit the check mark button, and to go back, you hit the back arrow. So let's go ahead and read the codes. You can choose between stored and pending codes. So it says no codes are stored, which is a good sign. And it'll say the same thing right now if we were to do pending codes. So then you can have the option to erase those codes. And again, we're in the diagnostic menu here. Another cool feature that a lot of other wired scanners, more basic level scanners, don't have that this one does is the ability to read live data, which is actually really cool because usually that's a feature you only find on devices that use an app or something, or really expensive OBD scanners, not ones that are about $30 or so. Let's go ahead and get the live data thing. So it's going to again scan all the PIDs, and because the car is off, we probably won't get any live data, but we will see a battery voltage of 12, which is good, healthy battery when the car is off. So let's go ahead and actually start the car, and we'll be able to read some of this live data. Okay, so now you can see that the battery voltage is up to 14 since we got the alternator working with the engine running. So DTC count is currently at 0. Fuel system levels 1 and 2. So we got the load percent, all these different percentages, RPMs. We're at 653 idling, and you can see if I hit the gas, it'll jump up. It's got a slight bit of lag, but really not bad at all for a scanner like this. Intake air temperatures at 57 degrees C, MAF, and then we got all sorts of different statistics that you can run. Your O2 sensors on each bank, before and after, and then your if your check engine light was on, otherwise known as a malfunction indicator lamp, it'll tell you how far you've driven since the light has turned on. So another thing that you can do is you can do freeze frame data. So I believe you can capture a certain stage of data and store it, but I don't have anything stored right now, so let's go back or hit the OK. Another thing that is cool is the IM readiness thing. So this actually helps a lot when you're trying to get smog checked. So one thing that I had to do with my wife's car recently is clear a check engine light after working with a turbocharger error. And one thing that you do is after you clear a check engine light, you need to drive the car for so long, which is called the drive cycle, and before all the modules reset. Because that is one thing that smog shops will check for, is to make sure that all the modules actually are okay and have data, because you can't just clear a code and go immediately to the smog shop. You have to drive it for usually about 60 to 100 miles. It varies from car to car and based on the car's ECU, but this is really cool because it allows you to check all the different modules and see if they're working properly. So you can see if we were to take this car to the smog shop right now, all the modules are in the OK position. So that's a very useful feature to have when you're trying to get your car passed for smog. And then of course you got your vehicle info thing here. So you can, it says to turn the vehicle off, but you can go ahead and access it anyways. So you can get your vehicle's VIN number. So say you bought a salvage vehicle and or something like that, or it's an old vehicle where for some reason you can't get the VIN number, you can read it here. And there's a few other things in here for the view data option. So now we're back to the main menu on the scanner here. So we just went through the diagnostics menu. So let's go ahead and do the battery tester, and this will kind of tell you your battery level voltage and where it stands. So it tells us our battery life is good, the current voltage, and it's just saying this is for reference only. So then another useful tool that this scanner offers that a lot of other basic wired scanners don't have is a DTC lookup. So you can actually go by the make of your vehicle. So if we scroll all the way down, and it's really cool, they got, you know, Lamborghini on here for when I buy a Lamborghini, but we go to Mercedes-Benz, and then you can enter the different code just by cycling through the 5 slots here for your error code. So, you know, let's just make up some random code here. P0 P0221. Okay, so if we were getting a code of P0221, it'll tell us exactly what that is. Throttle, pedal, position sensor, switch B, circuit, / range / performance. So that's really helpful. Say like you're standing somewhere and you don't have service. This has all of the different codes and what their meanings are programmed into the scanner, and which is a very helpful tool, especially like if your phone is dead or something like that. So now we're in the setup menu from the main menu. You can change your language, units of measure, contrast, which I believe is the backlight, tool self-test, and an update mode, because I believe you can update the firmware on here. And then the final submenu here is the about, which where you can just check out the software or hardware version of your scanner and things like that. But that pretty much sums up this wired scanner here from JDiag products. That's the JD-101 scanner here, and again, it's the wired scanner that doesn't require any sort of other technology for support like a phone or a tablet. So this scanner is really nice. Like I said, good build quality, and the features are really cool given the price and the fact that it's just a little wired scanner. I haven't seen yet a wired scanner for this price that can access live data and things like that. Pretty much wraps up all the features and some of the key aspects of the wired JD-101 scanner here. So now I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next level up, so to speak, of the JDiag product line. This is their JDiag FasLink M2 scanner here. So this is a wireless scanner that works via a Bluetooth signal, and you basically do the same thing. You plug it into the OBD II port on your car, and you connect it actually via a free app that JDiag offers. It's a iOS app and an Android app, so it covers both major operating systems for tablets and phones, and it's a really nice app that connects up with the scanner and offers a lot of different features. Very similar features to the wired scanner, but definitely has that extra step up over the wired scanner based on some premium features that you get with that app and the wireless connectivity. So this product goes for about $59.99 on their Amazon storefront. Again, link is in the description below if you're interested in getting this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the app now with you guys and walk you through some of the different features and menus on the app before we plug it into the car. And then of course we'll plug it into the car and I'll show you using the scanner and app live. So once you go ahead and find the app on the App Store here or Google Play Store, depending on what type of phone you have, since I already downloaded it, let's go ahead and open it. So it comes up with this menu here, really nice graphics. So when we're ready to connect the dongle to the app here, what we're going to do is click this VCI button here, and then there'll be a different menu here when it's got a signal from the device that you just click connect and it'll connect right up. So there's a bunch of different menus on the app here, as you can see. So before I plug this into the car and actually turn it on, I'll just kind of do a brief run through of all the sub-menus. So this first one is the trouble code menu. Of course, it's going to tell me that I need the ignition on. This is basically the area where you'll see any confirmed or pending trouble codes that your car throws, and your VIN will also be displayed in this top bar here. The next menu is an enhanced scan, which I haven't had a chance to do yet, but it sounds pretty cool. It's limited to certain makes, so they have Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, Ford, GMC, Lexus, Lincoln, Mazda, Mercury, Opel, and Toyota. So unfortunately they don't have it for Mercedes. If I had my wife's Chevy Cruze, we could check that, but basically it's a more advanced scan that kind of, I believe, looks more in-depth to the different control modules in all of the cars. So you can see here, if we were to do Chevy, we now have the option to look at the ABS module, the powertrain control module, the restraint control module, which I believe has to do with the seat belts, and also the transmission control module. So that's another feature here, is you can look at the enhanced scan menu if you have a make that fits with the app on here. So the next thing here is the battery test, which is very similar to the one on the wired scanner like we just went over. It tells you the current voltage and overall health of your battery based on that voltage. This is also a good way to help diagnose your alternator health as well. If some of you watched my video where I talked about my alternator basically short-circuiting, this was a method that I used to help diagnose if the alternator was bad and if the one that I replaced in was good. So you'll see your voltage level change when the car is off versus on, because the alternator should be charging the battery and it should add about 2 volts idling versus the car off. So also a good feature to test your alternator health as well as your battery. Next thing here is the freeze frame data. Same thing, you can kind of take a snapshot of all your diagnostic data. Another thing, like I said in the wired scanner overview, is this is the smog check portion, where it tells you if all of your different modules are ready to be scanned for a smog check after you cleared a check engine light. So you're basically, your car, like I said, needs some time to go through that drive cycle for all these modules to get the data they need to display if they're okay or not. Here you can get O2 sensor data, vehicle info, so your car's VIN will display when it's plugged in. Different maintenance, so if you need to reset any of these things, so there's the TPMS reset, service light reset, service oil reset, brake reset, and your key programming. And then your malfunction indicator lamp status, basically how long it's been on, how many miles you've driven since the light has been on. You can save different reports, and then of course this is cool. I mean, the iPhone has a flashlight feature built in, but again, you can press that here and actually the flashlight on your phone will turn on. So that's kind of a nifty feature, because definitely is a possibility that you might be doing some of this in the dark. And then of course you have another thing like the wired scanner where you can look up your different error codes. So let's do one real quick, P0203. So it tells you, what that code definition is and even possible causes, which is a really handy feature because it kind of gives you a starting point for maybe diagnosing something and fixing something. Because sometimes the check engine lights don't always tell you directly what to go to and fix. So that's basically the scan menu on the FasLink M2 app here. And then another cool feature is, again, you can display live data in different formats, which I'll go over more in detail once the car is on. And there's some other different things like user manual, if you need to order anything else, contact and review, and settings. So you can just kind of change some of the tips and different things like that for the app. So now that I've done a brief overview of the app here before I plug it in, let's go ahead and plug the OBD II dongle into the car and get this thing running and show you some of the other features. So once you've located your OBD II port, like I did before, plug this guy in, and immediately once you plug it in, a blue light is going to flash on the scanner, and that will just indicate that it has established a connection with the OBD II port on the vehicle here. Alright, so once you've plugged your scanner in and the car is running, the car will need to be either in the ignition 2 position or actually with the engine running for the scanner to be able to display a signal to connect to. And in order to read live data, the car needs to be on anyway, so I just went ahead and flipped it on. So let's go ahead and connect to the device here in this VCI menu in the top left corner. So click that, and now you can see the Bluetooth connection that the FasLink M2 you can connect with. Alright, so it's connecting up. And it connects up pretty fast. Some of these scanners here take a little while, but this one was pretty nice and quick. So let's go ahead and read if there's any trouble codes, but there probably won't be. So again, 0 confirmed codes, 0 pending codes, and then the VIN is also displayed right there. So again, if you had a vehicle that met one of these makes here, you could do an advanced scan of a more detailed module. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the battery test now. So you can see good healthy battery right at around 14.1 volts. So it's telling me the battery's good, and also the alternator is working good as well. Because if you have a faulty alternator, it's not going to be at that voltage reading. You're going to see a different voltage reading. And another thing also is if your voltage is varying a lot, that also could mean that your voltage regulator on your alternator could be going bad, which is the thing that did actually go bad on my car before. So again, freeze frame data, I'd have to capture one of those things for that to work. I'm trying to display this here so there's not much of a glare. Smog check, so now it'll go through, you'll see all of the different, so all the smog readiness of the different modules, they're ready to go. Some of these things aren't supported based on the vehicle, I don't really know much about that, but you can see if I needed a smog check, which thankfully I don't this year, I think I'd be pretty ready to go to take this thing in and it wouldn't have any issues. So then here we also have this thing called mode 6, which is basically it's a different readout of all sorts of different information. I don't have too much familiarity with this type of data, but there's all these different readouts between different sensor transitions. I'm guessing a more experienced mechanic would have an idea of what to do with this, but I'm sure this is very useful to someone who knows what this data means. But it's a cool feature that is offered on this app. So now we can go into our vehicle info, just displaying the VIN there, so then you can search info. And then maintenance, again, TPMS reset. I don't really want to mess with this because I don't want to mess with anything on the car right now since it's all running good, but if you did need to reset your TPMS light after getting a low tire pressure warning, you could probably do that from here. Your malfunction indicator lamp status, which you can see is not on, but it would tell you how long you've been driving with it on. Save reports, flashlights, and DTC lookup. So the other feature here that we're going to look at while the car is running is the live data feature, which will actually display live data that your car's ECU will output when the car is running. So currently I just have the throttle position being displayed, so you can see it's about 3%. So when I hit the gas here, it's going to jump up. Sometimes it's pretty accurate as far as live timing, and sometimes it does have a little bit of a lag. So, and then you can also go in here on the top left corner into your settings and you can add different information to the live data. So let's go ahead and add some now. So after you go into the settings here, which is the little gear in the top left, you can go to supported, which is basically all the different loads or the different features that are supported for your vehicle. So let's go ahead and add engine RPM. So you can click that, so the check mark means it's going to be displayed on your main live readout menu, and then you can customize the readout. So based on your car's RPM, so since mine's a V8, the max RPM is a lot lower, right around 7,000 RPM. So I set the max at 8. You can change the graph type, so you can have like a kind of a gauge style, a graph style where it reads over time, and then just like a digital number readout. So there's that. Vehicle speed, timing advance, intake air temperature, mass airflow rate, all the different oxygen sensor data, distance traveled with malfunction indicator lamp on, all sorts of different things that you can put into your live data. So I'm going to go ahead and just check mark some of these and show you guys what it looks like as far as live data goes. They recommend not having more than 5 being run at a time. I'm guessing because then it'll make it pretty laggy since you're running a lot of data through the app here, and it could make it not as responsive. So you can see now that we have engine coolant temperature, we have engine RPM as a gauge style, and then throttle position too. So let's see here how kind of responsive it is. So that's pretty quick. So it's pretty quick with reading it initially, but then it takes a little bit of time to drop back down. But I'd say that's pretty dang good. We have 3 data sets being read out right now, so the more you add, I'm guessing the slower it might go. But it's running pretty good for running 3 data sets right now. So another cool thing that you can do in the when you're modifying the gauges, you can change the color of the gauge here. So you got green, cyan, blue, red. So you can kind of make it colorful, and you can change the unit, so you can do degrees C or degrees Fahrenheit depending on which one you use more often. But overall, it's really cool seeing this live data readout on the app here. It's very handy. You can, mount your phone up on the dashboard and use it as kind of like an auxiliary gauge cluster if you're trying to keep track of a special, if you're running the car hard and you want to check your coolant temps and make sure you're not getting too hot, and it's a little bit more easy to read as far as just like a digital number instead of reading a gauge. Or you can put it more at eye level so you don't have to take your eyes off the driving line. So it's very useful here having this live data readout on the app. But that pretty much wraps up all the features on the JDiag FasLink M2 app. So that pretty much wraps up the review of the wireless JDiag M2 FasLink OBD scanner and the app that goes along with it. Don't be discouraged by the app rating on the Apple App Store. I'm not sure what it is on the Google Play Store, but it has a lower app rating. Some people had mentioned on the App Store reviews that the device kept losing connection or it wouldn't connect. I've used this thing quite a few times now. I've probably connected it, I don't know, between 10 or 15 times now prepping for this video, and I never once had an issue with connecting it. It never dropped connection while using it, which was really nice, because some of the cheaper ones that you pair with the Torque app or OBD Fusion will drop connection while you're using it. But I never once had this drop connection. It was really fast connection. And the one thing that I really liked about this is the one of the few scanners that I've seen that is able to connect to your phone via a Bluetooth connection on iPhones and iPads. Most of the Bluetooth scanners are only usable for Android devices. So it's really nice to be able to have a Bluetooth connection instead of Wi-Fi, because now you can still use your Wi-Fi signal to look things up while using the app. Overall, I was really pleased with these two products. Especially, I have to say, I was really pleased with the wired scanner. This is a really good bang for your buck scanner because it has so many features for being a low-level basic scanner for only about 30 bucks. You can do live data and look up so much useful information on the scanner, and you don't need any sort of phone. So if you don't like having to deal with the hassle of connecting it up to an app and doing all that, even though it's not too bad, this is a really great scanner. I'm really impressed with the features to be able to read live data, and of course also look up code information at the same time on this little guy. So all of that is pre-programmed into the software on this device. And of course, I was really impressed with the wireless scanner as well. Like I said, fast connection, never dropped connection. It was really easy to use, and it's a compact scanner, so you don't have this big thing dangling down under your dash, which you might hit with your knee or something. It's really compact and fits nicely under the dash. Huge thanks to the guys at JDiag Products for sending these out for me to review. I really enjoyed using these things. They're definitely going to stay in my toolbox here as some useful tools going forward for diagnosing issues or reading live data with my current cars, or even my future project car that will be coming sometime soon here, so stay tuned for that. But the guys at JDiag, they sell a lot of their stuff on Amazon, on their Amazon storefront, and also on their website, www.jdiag.com. They have all sorts of scanner products. These are kind of like their mid-level scanners. And then they have also many different other types of automotive-related products that might be really interesting for some of you guys to get if you work on your cars all the time. So thanks again to these guys for sending them out. I really had a good time reviewing these things. After watching this video, if any of you are interested in purchasing one of these scanner products from JDiag, I will have a link in the description for their Amazon storefront as well as their website. So definitely go check them out if you're looking to buy one of these scanners. If you guys have any questions or comments about either the wired scanner, the wireless scanner, or the app that goes along with it, definitely leave a question or a comment below and I'll try to answer that to the best of my ability. But other than that, thank you so much guys for stopping by and watching this video and supporting the channel. I really appreciate your viewership. And if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing for many more automotive videos to come. Like I said earlier, I've got a big new project that I'm about to release a video series on, so it's going to be an exciting one, so you might want to consider subscribing just for that alone. But I've got many go-kart videos on the channel, videos about my C55, and much more to come from those as well. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.